Good afternoon, welcome back to Wolfie's Den. Today we'll be going through my Blu Rays Letter S. So there's quite a few today, there's about 5 bundles, got another one over there. So it's going to be a bit of a longer video, but I don't want to make it too long, so I'll try not to spend too much time on each individual film, otherwise we could be here all night. So we shall begin. First up, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger in Sabotage. This is the limited uncut gold edition. Nice steelbook. It's all embossed. Nice embossed steelbook. Actually, this is a German release. You can all see, all German, right? Good Arnie actioner. Next up, we have Jason Statham in Safe. And we have some classic horror from Stephen King, Salem's Lot. This is the original. David Soul, James Mason. This is the 3-hour one. Yeah, this is the full version, 3 hours. I've just had a remake of this just come out. I watched it the other night. Wasn't too bad actually. Not as good as this, obviously, but it's worth a watch. Yeah, it was streaming. So there's a new Salem's Lot out as well. So that's the original. Now up we have a bit of a controversial film. Paolo Pasolini's Salo, or the 120 Days of Sodom. This is a special edition. There's 1, 2, 3 discs. 3 discs in this one. And a nice little booklet. Loads of special features. It's been banned and censored and reviled all over the world since its release. It's supposed to be his final masterpiece. If I remember right, it is pretty sicko in places. Next up, I have a film I haven't watched. It's called Salvage. It's a horror. Then we have an Arrow film release of Satan's Blade. This is a slasher horror. Yeah, it's an 80s slasher. This is a 2 disc. That's your 80s slasher. Next up we have classic Hammer film with Christopher Lee, The Satanic Rites of Dracula. This is an HMV premium release. So it's got some art cards and poster inside. It's one of the classic horror Dracula films. Hammer horror. Next up we have one of the classic films from the 70s. This is John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. This is the director's cut. I think they did make a PG version of this as well for the kids. Because surprisingly enough, I don't think many people really knew when this first came out. It wasn't just all about dancing. There's quite a lot of sex and gangland violence in this as well. So hence that's why it was an 18. And then we've got Saw 6, is it? No, Saw 4. Saw 4 Extreme Edition. Everybody knows about these now. I've got 4 What we got here? 4, 5 and 6 on Blu-ray. I think I got the first 3 on DVD, and I got the others on 4K. So it's a bit of a mixed bundle, really. So that's Saw 4, 5 and 6. Then we got another slasher collection. We have, can't read that. Scalps, it's called. Don't know much about this one either. Another 80s slasher, obviously. Next up, another Arrow film release, Scared Stiff. Yeah, Scared Stiff. Next up we have more Hammer horror. Christopher Lee again in Scars of Dracula. Also Dennis Waterman here. And Sweeney. Minder. Very young Dennis Waterman there. Scars of Dracula. Next up we have Scorpion King 2, Rise of a Warrior. This is unopened. Probably because I bought it on a whim. Just never got around to watching it. Can't be much worse than the first one. Or can it? Next up, a nice glossy slipcover is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Then we've got Scream 4. Moving on, this pile, I think we have unusual. Scream of the Banshee. I just had the slip covers smaller than the actual disc. Weird. Anyway, Scream of the Banshee. Next up we have Nicolas Cage in Season of the Witch. Then we've got The Secret Life of Pets 2. 3D. Should have put that in movie 3D set collection. Never mind. Quite funny. Then we've got a shameless release by the looks of it. Is The Sect. It's The Sect, the Devil's Daughter. Can always not miss these shameless covers. I wonder if it's a limited edition. It's got 4,713 there, so which is limited to 5,000 or so. And then we have Seed of Chucky. Another one of the follow-ups in the Chucky series. And we have See No Evil and See No Evil 2. Horror slashers with Kane, the WWE wrestler. See No Evil, See No Evil 2. Then we've got a bit of a lenticular cover. We have a film called Seventh Son. I didn't really see it with his. No, it doesn't really show off much. The Jeff Bridges film. Fantasy adventure. And then we've got The Shallows, shark Jaws type film. Next up we have another 1970s film. This is The Sentinel. Then we have Pierce Brosnan and Liam Neeson in Seraphim Falls, Western. Another classic film, this one. Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Seven. There is a 4K of this eventually coming out. It's been delayed several times, I believe. Brilliant film, this, one of my favourites. Then we've got, got a steel book of another one of my favourite films, The Shawshank Redemption. This is a 4-disc steel book. Let's have a look. It's got some quite a few art cards in there. And there's 4 discs. 4 discs in the steelbook. Not sure why there's 4 discs. One is just shut properly. Being annoying. There's the back of it anyway. And the front again, steelbook. It's a Shawshank Redemption. That would definitely be in my top 10. Next up we have Shakmar, uncut and remastered. I think this is about a baboon goes on a killer spree. A German release. Then we have a film I know nothing about. A film called Shelter with Julianne Moore. Then we have the HMV Premium Collection and Extended Edition of The Shining. Stanley Kubrick film. Stephen King didn't want to have anything to do with it because he didn't like what Stanley Kubrick did to it. I have this on 4K as well. Brilliant picture on 4K. So that's The Shining. I'm not sure if that's got posters or anything with it. Might have posters and cards. Next we have David Cronenberg's Shivers, another Arrow film release. One of his earlier films, earlier horror films. Next up we have, I suppose it was sort of controversial, but more than one way, but it's Paul Verhoeven's Showgirls. It's quite nice. This is quite a nice little box release. I don't even know how you get into it. But that's Showgirls. Some sexy girls in it as well. Then we've got Mark Wahlberg, Shooter. Apparently I have Showgirls twice for some peculiar reason. Oh, I could probably sell that one. Next up we have Sicario. You have Sicario 2? I think we have Sicario 2 on a different format. That's Sicario. Next up we have Sinister 2. What happened to Sinister 1? Oh. Next up we have a film called Side Effects. And nice classic Sherlock Holmes story, this one. With Ian Richardson, The Sign of 4. And what do we got next? We have Silent Hill, taken from the PlayStation game. A really good game, actually. This film's not pretty good. Silent Hill. There's a follow-up, which I think I've got on 3D. It's Silent Hill Revelation. Good films. Next up we have Sisters. Then we've got The Skeleton Key. Then we've got Daniel Craig, Skyfall, 007, James Bond. And we've got James Coburn, Susanna York. It's quite an old one. This must be a 70s film as well. Sky Riders. Next up we have, this looks like a bit of a comedy, Sky Sharks. Looks like it's got sharks and bloody Nazis and all sorts of things in this. Yep. Looks a bit of a mad one. Sky Sharks. Then we've got Slaughterhouse Rules. And we've got a nice Hammer horror again. Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, as it nearly always was, in The Skull. Slasher classics, we have Sleepaway Camp 2. I'm sure I've got a box set of these somewhere, probably in DVDs, all 3 films. Next up we have Slender Man, another horror film. A lot of horrors in here today. Slender Man. Then we've got a film called, I think it's supposed to be called Snake. See what's on it. It's quite heavy. Oh, it's 2 discs and a poster. Yeah. And a man who turns into a snake. as you do. Next up, on our slip cover, we have the Snowman. Nothing to do with Alex Jones. But a psychological thriller, that one, I think. Next up, we have Snowpiercer. Oh, nice steel book here of, on the side, Snow White and the Huntsman. Nice shiny glossy steel book. Some more artwork inside. Snow White and the Huntsman. Next up we have Snowtown. The Social Network. It was all to do with the beginning of Facebook. Next up we have Soldiers of Fortune. A little bit of a mercenary war type film. Then we've got, don't know where that's come from, Snow White and the Huntsman again. My filing system can't be working properly. Let's double check that. Let's have a look. All the same one, wasn't it? Snow White and the Huntsman. Snow White and the Huntsman, yeah. I thought it's the follow-up one. So with a slip cover, we don't really need that one anymore. So that should be going to the vintage sale. Next up, Unearthed Films, The Song of Solomon. It's pretty sick. Looks like a bit of a devil worshipping film. And we've got The Son of No One. And then Source Code. Move these a minute. I thought, where are we next? Up here. Yep. Next up, a nice slipcover is sort of bit of a Deliverance type film. It's a Walter Hill film, Southern Comfort. This has just had a fairly recent 4K release, but I think it's only USA available if you want to order it. It's quite a good film, Southern Comfort. Let's move these films out of it. Move. Never mind. Right, next, a nice steelbook, another 1970s film, Charlton Heston, Soylent Green. Then we've got the Italian collection. We have Spasmo. Rather strange cover. Some of these Italian films are quite strange. There's that nice steel book of Daniel Craig and Spectre 07. Inside this one. Nothing exciting. Next up for the slasher classics is Splatter University. It's amazing how many of these films, the type of films, are made in the 80s. It must have been knocking them out week by week. Then with a nice slip we have Splice, with a body transformation horror. You can't really see that, can you? Oh, there you go. It's shiny, that one. Next up we have Spider-Man 3. You all know about those. Then we've got Stakeland. And this one, oh, this could be 1960s, this one, I think, maybe. This is William Holden in Stalag 17. I'm not sure if this got a 4K a while back. I might be wrong. Next up we've got Squirm. Another creature feature, so to speak. Feels quite heavy as well. Yeah, 2-disc set. Yeah, 2-disc set with some posters in. Booklet. Nice booklet there. Squirm. Then another shiny slip cover. This one's quite embossed as well. This is Stargate, the Ultimate Edition. Nice shiny cover on that one. Kurt Russell. Another film I quite enjoy. Then we've got Starship Troopers 3, Marauder. These gradually got worse as they went along. Then we've got Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan, the director's cut. All these have had, all the Star Trek films have had 4K releases now. Then we've got Patrick Swayze in Steel Dawn, one of his more rarer films, I would say. Then we've got the unrated director's cut of The Stepfather. Just looking at the back of this, is the remake. Yeah, I think this is the remake. It's not the original one. The original one has just come out on 4K. I'll throw that on the floor. So this must be the remake of The Stepfather. Then we've got St George's Day, which is a bit of a football hooligan type film, along the lines of The Football Factory, I gather. Probably got some of the same characters as well. Then we've got The Strangers, Pray at Night, unrated. Also includes alternative ending and theatrical version. Oh God, I'm dropping things today. Strangers. Oh, stuck together. Next up we have Christian Slater in Stranded. Classic Sam Peckinpah adventure here. This is the ultimate 40th anniversary edition of Straw Dogs. The lovely Susan George in this one. And we've got another version of The Strangers. Is it the same one? I'll have to check that. Is it the same film or not? Bear with me a minute. No, I don't think it is. Oh well. Never mind. And next we have Steve Austin in The Stranger. No, I'll get confused. Last pile. Oh, a heavy one. This is Steelbook limited edition of Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. Nice shiny steelbook. Then we've got Street Kings. Then we've got Streets of Fire, which is also had a 4K release. We've got looks like a very amusing looking film, Strippers versus Werewolves. Wonder who wins that. Next up we have the Slasher Classics Student Bodies. Then we've got Subspecies. No. Then we've got Suck, Vampires Rock. Then we've got extended cut of Sucker Punch. Super. It's like action hero type film. Not Marvel, but along the lines of Kick-Ass. Then we've got Summer of '84. Steven Spielberg Super 8. I'm trying to speed through these now because we're near the end. Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. From the James Herbert's book, The Survivor. George A. Romero's Survival of the Dead. This one's like a limited edition. This is Dario Argento's Suspiria. Nice hardback. Sort of a bit of a hardback one. Limited edition again. Doesn't say how many though. Now a nice slip cover of Swamp Thing. Then we've got Return of the Swamp Thing with Heather Locklear. Then we've got Classic Police Sweeney 1 and Sweeney 2. Yeah. A nice steelbook of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, Johnny Depp. If there's anything inside this one. No. Right, last two. We've got John Travolta, Halle Berry, Swordfish. And finally, we have an Italian collection. We have a Syndicate Sadists. Looks a bit like John Rambo. There you go. Oh, right. So that was all of the S's. So that's taken nearly getting on for 40 minutes. So that's one of the longer videos. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Please make some comments. I don't get many comments. I don't know why. But if you want to make some comments, feel free. If you want to say something negative, I don't care, as long as it's sort of constructive at the same time. So hit the notification bell if you got it, so you know when I'm putting up a video. Yeah, I can't think of anything else much. Obviously the next one will be, where are we? T next, is it? Losing track of where I am. Yeah, anyway, it's not too many left to go, so we get through the Blu-rays. And I'll catch you all soon. So have a good rest of your weekend. See you later.